Just ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Pipe Talk. And this video is especially for newcomers in pipe smoking, as I have been asked by two people recently what blends they shall look for. And when you start pipe smoking, the choice is really overwhelming, and often the descriptions of the different tobaccos don't make much sense. And when I started pipe smoking, I also had no clue about this all. So I'd rather give some quick advice and not go too deep into the topic, just to give a quick overview on the most common terms and tobaccos that are available. So first, when you buy a tobacco, make sure you buy it from a source that is selling lots of tobacco, and try to avoid to buy it at a gas station somewhere in the middle of nowhere, because if they don't sell regularly, these tobaccos stand there often for years. And I often bought some pouches of some obscure tobacco that I never saw before, and it had a consistency like sand already. Just an unpleasant experience and wasted money. The other thing is, when you buy a fresh pouch or a fresh vacuum sealed tin, it's a good idea to open it up, close it again, and let it rest for 1 or 2 days before giving it the first smoke. Often these tobaccos are a bit too moist, and the tobacco needs to breathe after it has been vacuum sealed to regain its full flavor. Yeah, what to look after? Broadly speaking, there are two groups of tobaccos. One are the aromatics, and one are more natural tobacco tasting blends. Typical aromatics have an additional flavor of cherry, vanilla, you name it. While the more natural blends are often referred to as English blends, which is not 100% correct, but it's a very, very common simplification. If you say English blend, everyone knows what you're talking about. While the added flavors speak for itself, it's more difficult with English blends if you have no idea about the different tobaccos. So I try to give a very, very quick rundown. So for example, one of the most common tobaccos used in blending is Virginia. Virginia has the highest natural sugar content, so it makes any blend sweeter. But on the downside, if you smoke it too fast, too hot, it can become biting on the tongue. Another blend that is mostly used in the classic American blends that are around since forever is Burley. I think it's also used in cigarettes a lot. It is very mild in taste, very easy to smoke, sometimes has a little nutty, earthy flavor to it, but it's often very nicotine heavy. And when I smoke a straightforward Burley blend, I often feel it down in my stomach instead of my tongue. Don't know why this is, but I guess many people can confirm. Another added tobacco that is usually not comes on its own is Cavendish. It's a Danish word. It's a refined major tobacco, fermented, I think. It becomes usually pitch black, and it's added to tobacco to smoothen it out, to make it burn slower. And I think it's like adding milk to a coffee. So a blend with loads of Cavendish is like drinking a cafe latte or something like that. It also takes up added flavors very well, so it's often a base component of aromatic blends as well. Then a term that often is seen is Latakia. That's a tobacco that came out of the Syrian province by the same name. Obviously, this tobacco isn't available anymore, so now it's coming from Cyprus, I think. And the thing is, they did put these tobacco blends over campfires in their homes back in the day. So the tobacco is actually smoked. Smoked? Tobacco is usually getting smoked. It's put over the smoke and dried in smoke. So this blend has a very distinctive flavor. It tastes sometimes like campfire, sometimes it even goes in a direction like sour cream-like. It's very intensive. But it's not strong in nicotine, that's a common myth. Then we have Kentucky tobacco, one of my favorites, although I can't smoke it raw. If there's too much Kentucky, there's too much nicotine and it blows you out of your socks. But Kentucky adds a lot of flavor to any blend. It's also smoked over burning logs. Don't know which wood they use. And they invented this in Kentucky, I think. Usually very strong, also very tasty. There are also Kentucky cigars, so if you're a cigar smoker, you should give those definitely a try. They have a very unique flavoring. So these are the major components. There are some more and variations like Red Virginia or stuff like that. Yeah. Then sometimes, yeah, the usual blend comes in ribbon cut. That's the standard format, but there are still other cuts. For example, you have flakes. This is tobacco that is pressed into blocks and then cut into slices. Often this increases the flavor, but you have to think of how to prepare this. Some people to stuff it, fold it and put it into their pipes. Some people used to cut it up with a knife. So it really depends. So for a beginner, just some ribbon cut is doing fine. I think they invented the flakes to save space on ships back then when the sailors had the tobacco with them. So they cut down what they needed and smoked it like that. Yeah, then we have plugs or cakes. This is pressed tobacco in one single piece usually. If it's a crumble cake, you should break it with your fingers and rub it to pieces that you can smoke. Other cakes are more compact in size and you really need a knife to cut it. Then you have ropes and twists. Those often look like the turd of a cat. Really, they look like that. And a friend from England gifted me a tobacco from over there. And it was a superb smelling and tasting tobacco, but in the beginning I had no clue how to really smoke it, and I had to ask this gentleman how he is preparing this. So you have to cut it up, then rub it out, let it stand for a few minutes before you can smoke it. It still needs a load of relights to get going, but it is very rewarding. So I wouldn't recommend this for a beginner either. Yeah, then there's always the debate where to start. Most people start with aromatic stuff, as it's easier to get what you want. Everyone knows what vanilla is, or cherry or whatever. It's more difficult with English blends, as I explained before. Most pipe smokers switch then to more natural flavored blends over the course of time, and often they start to look down on aromatic smokers, something I wouldn't do. I like to smoke all blends, whatever I'm in the mood for. Sometimes I like something sweet and easygoing, and when I have more time and I've eaten a lot, I smoke something that is stronger, needs a little more attention in the pipe. So don't get discouraged by pipe smoking authorities or people looking down on others for smoking aromatic stuff. Yeah, that's it for now. I hope it was a little bit helpful for beginners. Next time I will tell how to treat a new pipe and what to look after. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.